That is a good coffee.
Good morning guys, and welcome back to Shrewsbury. You join us in the same spot where we left you in the end of last week's vlog, and it's a little bit drizzly outside, a little bit grey, a little bit wet, so we're just sheltering in the van. We thought we'd try out a full day with a fixed bed.
We can actually have a fixed bed if we're feeling lazy, or if the dogs need to snooze, or if it's raining. It's quite nice because I can just get on with my work on the bed. Nick can get his stool out and he can work over there. Best of both worlds.
We've just spent our second night in Shrewsbury, or on the edge of Shrewsbury, in this lovely little park up right on the banks of the River Severn. Now, did you know that the River Severn is the longest river in Great Britain at 220 miles? And it's also got the most biggest voluminous body of water in the whole of England and Wales, so it's got the most water, so that's pretty cool. And speaking about that, last time we were here in the winter, like 2 years ago, this whole area was flooded. Like, it burst its banks and we couldn't get anywhere down this road. All these fields were flooded as we tried to park here. But this year we made it. A little bit regretful for not going out exploring yesterday. We were working all day on the laptops and stuff, and the sun was out, and then today it's pouring with rain, grey and drizzly, but we are going to venture out and have a little explore. But yeah, great little park up right on the banks of the river, lovely view down either side, some lovely houses with steps leading down to the river. There's loads of little jetties for fishermen because there's lots of salmon in this river apparently. So there's a few fishermen down here, quite a few dog walkers, but apart from that it's very peaceful, especially at night. We had the whole place to ourselves. So yeah, great little park up and great access for the town. Nearly said city, Shrewsbury town.
You got it right.
Thank you, thank you,
Thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome. Fixed bed or no fixed bed?
No fixed bed.
No fixed bed. I'm putting this up rather than the blind of the window, just because the blind can get damaged when little doggies jump against it. And that lets in a little bit more light, don't you think?
Thank God you don't have to do up your laces, otherwise we'll be here all day.
I should do up my laces. Whew. Right, be good boys.
So we're leaving the dogs in the van just because they're a little bit tired out still from that Hawkstone Park folly, that jolly in the folly.
They've had lots of big walks, haven't they, the last few days?
Yeah.
Dizzy even came on a run with me yesterday, so they are a bit knackered. Plus they don't like the rain.
This is the weir, and this little section is where it was completely flooded, so you can see how low the water is on the lower level. So for it to be flooded, it was quite crazy. So much rainfall.
Noisy, isn't it?
All this was underwater, and those fields. I was walking along there.
So if you park where we've parked, or anywhere along the Severn banks here, it's a really cool walk into town because you can just walk right across the river front kind of thing, and look how pretty it is. And I think this is, did you say, a 15-20 minute walk into town?
Half an hour walk to the centre, to the far side.
To the far side, so you kind of be hitting town in about 15 minutes if you do a quick walk. We didn't bring the umbrella, so we are, you know, being hopeful.
Checking on the dogs already, darling?
Well, the curtain didn't work, did it? Charlie's got his head in the curtain looking out the window. But yeah, they seem quite calm.
So Shrewsbury's origins date back as far as Anglo-Saxon era, with foundations as far back as the 8th century. So it's got so much history, and its location is perfect for defending. It sort of sits in the middle of like a U-bend of the River Severn, so it goes all the way round with just sort of pretty narrow entrance. So it was a perfect place for defending against invaders.
So we have got a few fun facts for you today. We have done a bit of research about Shrewsbury, or should I say Shlopersbury? No. Salopa's Brig, is that right?
It's had so many names, so many different names. It had Salopa's Berry, and then in the early 14th century it was Shrewsbury. Oh, excuse me. And then in the early 15th century it became Shrewsbury. But in the modern day, is it Shrewsbury or Shrewsbury? Well, apparently if you're from outside Shrewsbury, it's Shrewsbury. If you're from Shrewsbury itself, it's Shrewsbury.
This is slippery around here, isn't it? I think they might have come out of the river with a fishing magnet, no?
Yeah. So Shrewsbury's got an old castle made out of sandstone at the entrance to the town, which dates back to 1074, and it's also got its old abbey, which dates back to 1083. And another fun fact, Charles Darwin, have you heard of him? He grew up here, he was born here, and he went to the secondary school, which is now the old library.
So here we go. So this is the English Bridge. It was built in 1768. So it's pretty old. And also there's a Welsh Bridge, which is the other side of town, because Shrewsbury is obviously a border town, even though the Welsh border is a little bit further away. It's still in England. There's a, what do you call it there, darling? Goblin.
A goblin or a sheep, the side parting. So the bridge was actually completely rebuilt in 1925 to 1927. It was actually widened and given a steep gradient, I presume for boats to get underneath. But every stone from the original bridge was reused.
So that must have been one hell of a job. And then it was reopened by Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth in 1927.
Wow.
So you know you're a tourist when you take a picture of yourself in a phone box, an old school phone box.
The thing is, are they actually used, or are they just there for the tourists? This is the Abbey, dates back to 1083. Too early for a beer?
Too early, although it does look like a really cool pub. Here we go, this is down the side of the pub, look at this.
How cool is this? So Shrewsbury is actually famous for its Tudor style half timber houses, which date back hundreds and hundreds of years.
So what do you think the population is of Shrewsbury, my love?
74,329.
Did you know already?
That's it.
No. But it's around 75,000. Did you just guess that? And Shrewsbury has 622 listed old buildings. I don't know if that's what you say, old, but you know, listed buildings. Oh, the church is up there, darling.
Which church did you want to look at, darling?
I know, there's two.
This
right?
one or that one?
It reminds me a little bit of Chester. I mean, there might be loads of towns like this, I'm not sure, but obviously spent quite a lot of time in Chester, so it does remind me with the half timber houses and things, and the buildings, the Tudor style buildings. These are the Bear Steps, and the reason why they're called that is because apparently bears, actual bears, like grizzly bears, used to dance on these steps. I don't know if that's a tease, if your dad was teasing us about that. Did that actually happen?
You used to have dancing bears, real life bears, dancing on the steps. There's a bear pub up there. This is the Bear Steps. Another fun fact, that road over there. Why is this called Grope Alley?
Grope Alley? Grope Lane?
Grope Lane. I'm giving it away now, haven't I? This is where all the prostitutes were. All the prostitutes used to hang out here, so that's the reason it got the name Grope Alley. And there's another one called Dog Pole. Got nothing to do with dogs, nothing to do with poles. Dog Duque means duck and pole means head, so it meant duck head. There's a low bridge down the road and you had to duck your head when you're on horseback or horse-drawn cart.
Look at this building here. Look how crooked that is. That's crazy. It looks like it's going to fall down. Have you got anything to say about Gullet Passage?
It's where the sword swallowers used to be, and they'd put their sword down their gullet. There you go.
You can't trust anything this one says, by the way. Here we go, Wimpy. Now, I didn't know that Wimpy's were still around. Wimpy was the first kind of burger joint type place to arrive here in the UK in 1954. But there still remain 64 Wimpy restaurants around the UK.
1934 it came out in the US. Now it's no longer in the US. It's only in the UK, South Africa and Kuwait.
Oh.
Quite crazy, isn't it?
So we did just go in, we were going to get something, but it's actually quite expensive and we don't really want a burger anyway. It's like £14 about, isn't it?
For a meal deal, yeah.
So we thought,
do they still serve it on plates? That's what I remember about Wimpy.
Oh, I
You've got
think
it in
they
bowls
do.
and plates.
Yeah.
So it's like a burger joint, but a little bit classier.
Yeah.
Job we didn't go for Wimpy because my dad has just texted and we're meeting my folks for a late lunch. On the way back to see them in Stourbridge. My grandparents lived here, my dad grew up here, but I can't believe that I've never really walked around the old town. So this behind me is the conclusion of our little tour of Shrewsbury.
I thought you said we're going to get coffee and cake.
Oh yeah, well it all finishes with a cake, doesn't it? Every tour finishes with a cake. But this is Rowley's house, which is quite cool. It's very crooked and it's quite famous in Shrewsbury. I think it was one of the first brick buildings ever built in Shrewsbury and it dates back to the 1500s. It's quite a cool building, isn't it?
It's very cool. He said no more buildings, no more churches, no more history, but it's got a bit more for you.
I told my dad I was coming to Shrewsbury and he had a little list of places I should visit, so I had to come and see St Chad's Church. It's got this huge round building which is quite unique and it dates back to 1790, and from the church you overlook a beautiful park which I think is quite famous and it's known as the Dingle. It was designed by someone famous if you're into gardening or landscape gardening.
Nice place to hang out though, lots of dog walkers and quite nice just looking over the town.
And the river, it's along the banks of the river, so pretty cool. But that really is it. We do need our second coffee, is it?
Second coffee, and we also got to meet your folks.
So let's get a wiggle on. There's a lot more to see in Shrewsbury, and having visited here now, I'd like to come back.
We're just on the way back to the van now. But this is the Shrewsbury prison, which was built in 1793, I think, and it closed quite recently in 2013. And you can actually go and do like a self-tour, or you can get a guided tour around the prison. I looked into it, it looked really interesting actually, but it's sort of like probably a half-day thing, isn't it? It's like £15 each, or a good couple of hours.
That would have been really cool to have a little wander around the prison cells and...
You know, life behind bars kind of thing, and how it was for the inmates here, and like I said, up until quite recently, only 11 years ago. And Richard Tomlinson, is that his name, the guy from the royal family?
Yeah.
He actually did time here.
Naughty boy.
I reckon when we're passing through next time we might check it out.
Definitely. And just as we're getting back to the van, the sun comes out. Oh. Typical.
It's really warm now, isn't it? I'm sweating. Never thought I'd say that in autumn. Is it autumn now? It must be in the 20s, darling.
Must be in the 20s.
Ready for two very, very excited little doggies. I think they can hear us.
They're going to let them jump out into the mud.
No.
Oh, too late, Charlie. Charlie, you snuck out, didn't you? Hello.
Hello, baby.
Yeah.
They've been sleeping, haven't they, finally?
Come here.
Good boy.
Come here. So the dogs are all settled now after the initial excitement of us getting back to the van.
Yeah, they were okay behaved. Okay, not perfect. I was watching on the cameras and they were okay. Anyways, we're just going to take a quick moment to thank today's sponsor of the video, and that is Bottle
bottle.
So we have the Magic Cube and we also have the Hydro X. These products are brilliant. This morning we filled the Magic Cube up with ice. Then we went round Shrewsbury for several hours and now, excuse me, it's still ice cold. This thing will keep ice, water or whatever you put in it cold, really cold for 12 hours or longer.
Yes, we do have an ice maker in the van. Now, my favourite has to be the Hydro X. This is good for your hot or cold drinks. It's got some really cool features. If you can't decide whether you want to drink out the straw or the bottle, don't worry, it's got both options. Then it's also got a secret little container at the bottom, which is good for keys, coins, or whatever you want to put in it.
Vitamins, pills.
Silicone base, so it doesn't slip, and they're just really, really well made.
Yes, we are super duper happy with these drinking bottles, and if you want to get your hands on one of these, use code 15 Explorers at checkout, 15% discount. Great bottles, keep hydrated.
Thank you, Bottle for sponsoring today's video.
Cheers! Here we go, my love. There we go.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And this means we didn't stop for coffee, we didn't stop for cake, we didn't get any snacks, we just kind of didn't see anything, and then we thought we'd better get back to the doggies. They've been left long enough. And these crumpets, you guys must think we're blinking addicts of crumpets, don't we? Always have crumpets. We don't always have crumpets, we have other stuff, but we always film crumpets for some reason. Anyway, these and the coffee were done electronically. Made electronically.
Virtual? Are
Virtual.
they real? Are they real crumpets? Yeah.
No gas, electric, and we're testing out this new pan at the moment, and so far so good. So when we're giving it a proper test, I'll tell you more about it. But the crumpets cooked better in that pan than they did in the Ridge Monkey, the frying pan or the air fryer. Well, I think they did. You'll have to try them. Olive oil, Marmite and Nooch. Again, people are going to be going, that's just weird.
Look at me, I'm living the dream, sat here with my boys, view of the river, happy days. Could have been done a little bit more, to be honest. Nicer, consistent all the way through, cooked perfectly.
You just said they're undercooked.
I could have been done a bit more. I'm just trying to, so you improve, improve your skills. I can't give you 10 out of 10, otherwise where do you go from there?
Some might say do it yourself next time.
Nice though. Good crumpets, these.
Better than those cheap ones you got the other day, aren't they? So we have left Shrewsbury and we are driving towards Bridgnorth to meet Nick's folks for a late lunch or early evening meal if you like. And there is some very ominous clouds ahead. Ominous clouds ahead. So Nick just said to me, those clouds ahead look very ominous. I was like, what the heck does that mean? Yes, he has a much better vocabulary than me. Anyway, it started raining again. So they are ominous clouds. Threatening, scary, worrying. Gosh, we should have stayed in Shrewsbury. We've driven half an hour and the weather is absolutely horrendous here. It's like half flooding by the side of the road.
Well, you're just saying how lucky we've been with the weather. Oh, I'm going to have to slow right down.
Just slow down so you don't flood the engine, yeah. Gosh, look, it's flooded already. It's insane. Not used to this, are we, love?
Weird, isn't it? All this water falling from the sky and rivers down the side of the road.
And there's your folks waiting for us. At least it's stopped raining now for us to get from car to the restaurant. Unfortunately, the dogs aren't allowed to come in with us. We feel really bad, but we'll give them loads of treats afterwards.
Hello, sorry we're late.
The weather's not brilliant, is it?
Are you late as well?
Yeah.
Well, the rain was horrendous.
Yeah, floods.
Frightening. The worst thunderstorm in 70 years.
In 70 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Really?
Driving,
Never-
yeah, I think
well,
so,
We've
yeah.
never I didn't have a car when we were young, so what is it, 50 years then?
50 years of driving.
50
yeah.
years. What have you been?
You all right?
Oh, that's my son.
Nice to see you, yeah. Sunny in Shrewsbury and then just pouring with rain and yeah.
Dad said, I've got to drive through the middle of the road and there was cars coming there.
I did pull across reluctantly when the cars
We
were.
got here safely, we all got here safely.
How much filming did you
Cheers.
do?
And when I got a
Cheers.
bit lost, I stopped and asked somebody,
Cheers, Mum.
and
Cheers.
they didn't know. They said they were visiting the area and didn't know where the inn
Yeah,
was.
Dad's been knocking
really?
on all the doors. Trying
Not
to
all the
find
doors,
somebody.
one door.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Sarah's sewing sessions. Got the sewing machine out today. Nick's been editing, I've been sewing, but we only have one stool. We should get another stool, shouldn't we?
I'm alright editing here to be honest, and I think this is my preferred spot because I've got a nice view out the back doors when there's a nice view, and it's quite good for your posture.
Thank you to our friends in Portugal, Nina and Stephen. They actually gave us these curtains that they no longer needed, and they're the perfect colour scheme for the van. They gave us two big, big curtains. So we're using one for here, and we've also, you can probably see, I'll show you this one in a minute, we've come up with like our winter curtain as well for the side door to make it more cosy. So once we finish with adjustments, it's going to just be like that, and then obviously, you know, you can just open it up. We've got the shower curtain as well to have here when you do want a full length shower. You can lift the lids up, it's going to hook on, and then you can have like a proper full on shower in there. So I think we might organise that today, put the hooks up as well a little bit later on. This is our winter curtain, because there was two curtains, you only need one for the bathroom. And this curtain, without doing any adjustments to it, is like the exact length for the side door and the right width. So you get the idea. So it's going to sit there, which I thought was quite nice. And then we just close the curtain like so, once we've got a proper pole. Where our window is here, and obviously our bed's quite high, so at night time, if we do that, we're a little bit worried that our feet could, I mean they don't, we can fit on the bed widthways, but you know, you move around in the night and things like that, so you could actually kick that and then you'll damage this. So we don't have that closed at night, so we've had like this little put up type curtain, like magneted up. So this will be the perfect solution for that as well, won't it?
Yeah. Makes it nice and cosy, doesn't
Nice
it?
and cosy.
Let's talk about those socks for a moment. Let's talk about this outfit.
Yeah, talk about nice and cosy. It's 17.5 degrees in the van, so that is actually pretty cold. I think this is like the coldest day we've had so far, isn't it? We are actually going to Scotland fairly soon, and it's going to be bloody freezing up there, let's face it.
I've been on my folks' driveway for the last couple of days now after meeting them in Bridgnorth for that lovely meal.
So if you're ever passing through Bridgnorth,
They're down in just on the outskirts of Bridgnorth. We did want to go into Bridgnorth, but as you saw the weather, it was pouring down with rain, so that's another thing for another day.
But we recommend that place because
Definitely.
you can have the carvery option, but also all of the mains you can choose to pick your own vegetables. So I had like the nut roast, which wasn't on the carvery menu, but then you can choose, you can have the carvery vegetables. So that was really lovely. And then since we've been back here on the drive,
Yeah, just been, we have got on with things, not just plans for the inside, but felt it needed a clean. So I got my dad's little jet hose out up on the ladder.
the van was so filthy. There was so much gunk and like streaks and bugs all over the front. And you did the house, didn't you, my love?
Yes, we thought we'd earn our keep on the driveway and just cleaned off the aluminium cladding. Top of the house is all aluminium, it gets a bit green and stuff. So yeah, I just sprayed that down. So satisfying doing that. And then
Absolutely soaked.
absolutely soaked. Sarah wanted me to do the bottom of the van, so you can get under there and clean off that, but yeah, it got messy just doing the van on the outside, so I think I'll leave that to her back in Spain. Something we are going to do now, which we've been arguing about, discussing shall we say, is add some stripes to Velton. I think he deserves some stripes. After getting us up here in a few days from Andalusia to back to the UK, he deserves at least 1 or 2.
I'm still not sure.
He needs a stripe, he's earned it.
These stripes are like easy to peel off if we change our mind. They're not just, they don't leave like that horrible residue. They're actually really good. You're doing it straight, aren't you, darling? That's going upwards. So what are we thinking, guys? To stripe or not to stripe? Now, they are a little bit shiny. The one on Little Old Vinster are very matte finished, and this is a bit more shiny, so they are different. It does cover up all of the little dits and scratches, because there is quite a few down on this bottom door. And then obviously we're not thinking about just doing the door, we're thinking about, or Nick is thinking about, to where he's doing now, the wheel, and to the front. He's thinking 2 stripes, like that. What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments. I mean, Little Old Vince's got 3, hasn't he?
Yeah, and then 2 more, hasn't he?
On the front, on the bonnet, yeah. So as far as these stripes are concerned, you'll have to come back next week and find out what happens. We're going to probably end up with about 8 stripes. So, anyways, folks, the plan, what is the plan over the next month, love?
Plans change, obviously. We are definitely planning to go to Scotland, but not first.
Oh, and on the way to Scotland, or on the way back from Scotland, Northumberland?
Northumberland, yes.
Yeah. So hit us up with recommendations for those places, Scotland, and I know there's loads in Scotland, so that's going to be, yeah.
We're hoping to spend about a month up there. But before we do that, we've got commitments. I've got to go to the dentist for my treatment. I'm not waiting until I go back to Spain. So I've got an appointment booked for just over a week's time. So to kill a bit of time, we thought we'd go to Norfolk.
Now, we don't know anything about Norfolk.
Any recommendations?
Is it worth going to? You see, yeah, we've got like a week to kill, and we just kind of looked at the map and thought, well, how about let's try over here, because we have spent a fair amount of time in Wales this time and last time we were here as well, and we love Wales. Of course, we are going to spend more time there, but we thought, let's just go somewhere different. Let's go East Coast this time. We've never really seen much of the East Coast, and it's kind of like, obviously, we're just outside Birmingham here.
So yeah, we've done a lot of the west. Oh, done a lot of the west, so we want to go to the east, the south, Cornwall, and the north, Scotland. Hoping to do this trip, definitely up to Scotland and maybe Cornwall on the way back south.
But we need more than a week to see both of those places. So we're going to Norfolk. I'm thinking East Coast better weather, you know, because it rains a lot and the wind comes in on the west more so, doesn't it? Is that right?
It'll be sunny, scorching, it'll be roasting. Absolutely roasting on the East Coast. Doesn't rain there at all.
Anyway, let us know.
Best beaches, best park ups.
So that's where we'll be heading towards next week, hopefully. And we'll have loads of stripes all over the van and everything's going to be great.
But anyway, yeah, that's enough of this week's vlog.
So you will meet Nick's parents, probably do a little thing in next week's vlog, and also Norfolk.
Norfolk. I don't know why we laugh when we say that.
I don't know why we laugh either. So anyway, folks, thanks for watching, and follow us for daily updates, of course, on our other socials. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you all next Thursday. Take care, guys. See you next week. So yes, let us know in the comments your recommendations for that part of the world. So let us know in the comments. Comments. I can't talk anymore.
Come on, darling.